Reading from Journey to His Heart, Green Pastures and Quiet Waters, page 49. He makes me to lie down in the green pastures. He leads me beside the quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. After the desert, he led her to another passageway. In the cave, it was serene and quiet and inviting. The lush green pasture was exactly what her soul needed after the desert. This was the place of refreshment. Jesus looked at her and suggested they sit for a while. This is the place where work ceases, even ministry stops. Only rest and refreshment happens here. There they sat. No agenda, nothing to do, no work to get done, no chores to complete. The worries that usually ran on a loop through her mind calmed. Initially as inviting and refreshing as this place is, she resisted. At times it's easier to stay distracted and frazzled than to sit and rest with the heart of Jesus. After a while she began to wonder, what do I do here? He knew her swirling mind, so he waited for her thoughts to slow. After some time passed, he quietly asked, will you give me the things that you worry about, those unknowns that you dwell on, the thoughts that keep you from accepting my rest? She realized he had identified something deep in her, the restlessness that she wanted to hide. She didn't realize she had so many thoughts and fears, things she wanted to fix or change, her self-evaluation on how she was doing as a wife and a mom, her success in work and ministry. Then her thoughts went to things she constantly worried about, her kids and their friendships and their hopes and their dreams and their safety. Her mind wandered to her family members' needs and the hurts of those around her, missed opportunities, rejection, grief and loss of those she loves, the general uncertainty. Jesus read her mind as she contemplated what to do with all these thoughts, worries, restless emotions. Finally, she replied, yes, I give you all of this, every one of my cares, because I know the ocean of your love, and I know you care for these people and their needs even more than I do. His loving truth brought a new peace and rest. As she sat with Jesus on the carpet of green grass, she saw the still water. Peace filled her heart, her mind, and her soul. She laid her head on his heart, and there she found great comfort. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. John 14:27. He spoke to the core of who she is, filling her soul with tranquility. You are my beloved, my treasure, my masterpiece, my chosen. You are a conqueror. Living in the truth of who you are stops the striving, the swirling, the anxious energy. Real life is found in living enfolded in my heart of love. Enfolded in love, let us grow. Jesus continued to speak to her heart. Live in the knowledge of who and whose you are. These truths are real life and bring life to the fullest. The enemy of your soul wants to try to tell you lies about yourself and your identity and even what I think about you. Do not listen to the enemy, but instead listen out for my voice to guide you. In this place, he reminded her of countless scriptures that are truth about who she is as a Christ follower. John chapter 3 and chapter 15 and chapter 16, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, Malachi 3:17, the chapter of Ephesians 2, the chapter of Romans 8. As she prepared to live each day to the fullest, she knew that she could close her eyes and go to this place often. Just like Psalms 23:3 says, the heart of Jesus brings refreshment and restoration. Revived by his love, she was excited for the next adventure. Self-reflection. How do I self-evaluate? Does this cause me stress? If so, how can I daily give my worries, my stresses, and all the things that swirl in my mind? On a side note, the practice of personalizing Scripture is a good tool to use towards a deeper understanding of the Word that God has given us. When I was on Young Life staff 20 plus years ago at a solitude retreat, we were asked to listen to the heart of God. At times, I had no idea how to do that. The facilitator gave me Psalms 23 and told me to read it over and over again and ask God to help me hear what He was saying. Here in this place, I learned to personalize the scripture, not to change it to suit my needs, but to ponder it and reflect on it and ask questions like, what does it mean that God leads me beside the still water? Knowing the truth of the scripture, what would He say to me as we sat in the green pasture? In the Gospels, is there a discipline I relate with? Or a disciple I relate with? What was their posture with Jesus? How would this disciple interact with Jesus beside the still water? What does God call me in the Bible? Can I embrace this word of truth? If a fear or a thought enters my mind that contradicts the Bible, I know this is not from God.